Morning, guys. This is Sean with Integrity Ranch. Just out here getting the sheep and goats fed. It's New Year's Eve today, and we just made it to our last paddock on this farm. It's one of our lease farms. So we made it to our last paddock, and now we're starting to feed hay. I'm hoping to feed hay for about 30 days on this piece because we're going to have to feed hay at some point, and this farm really needs it. You see all this bare soil, moss growing. There's a lot of surface rocks. And so this farm needs some hay fed on it. So we're going to start feeding hay here in this last paddock, and then we'll move everything to the first paddock that we were here for, which will give us, 35-day rotation, so that even though it's wintertime, it's still just always a good practice to give your pastures, 35 to 45-day rest so that the parasites are dead. I'm not an expert, and I don't know, how much they're even alive in the wintertime, but it's just a good practice to do. You really need to do it in the spring and summer and fall, and so it's kind of just something I always try to shoot for, at least giving my pastures a 35-day rest. So now that we're feeding hay, we're not feeding very quality of hay. It's some decent cow hay, and then we're rotating between just some good cow hay and then some that's just wheat straw. So really low quality hay that we fed over there. So now that we're doing that, we're starting to supplement, I guess you could say. And this is not it's about all gone, but this is not it's not a licked, it's a licked tub, but this is what they call oil stock. Hey, get back, Pops, get back. They call it oil stock, and it's a really oily mix of nutshells and nuts. And I'm not sure what else they put in there, but it comes from a local nut factory. So I'm kind of trying it out over beautiful lake. Trying it out over like a lick tub because it's so much cheaper. It cost me about $7 to fill this lick tub up, versus that lick tub is going to be anywhere from $60 to $150 if it was an actual lick tub. And this will last them a little over a week because it's so oily. They can't really overeat on it. So I'm not really recommending it because I'm still just trying it out. But it does seem like to me, when you start to feed sheep and goats hay, if you're not feeding them, some decent hay, it really helps to have a lick tub out. You don't have to do it, but it lasts them, a lick tub will last a pretty good size herd, a while. So it's one of those things, it's hard to say. I wouldn't really recommend it to everyone, but if you're feeding some rough hay, it definitely can make your hay go farther and your animals stay fatter. So it's worth thinking about. But just out here feeding hay. I still got to pitchfork a little bit of it around. Tried to not keep it so thick because I end up wasting more. But New Year's Eve, it's cold. It feels like wintertime. So feeding hay doesn't feel like that bad of a thing. We still have about 30, maybe 45 days of stockpile back at the home piece. So we'll feed hay here, all of January, and then we'll go home and probably feed hay, another 30 days. Try to be only feeding about 60 days. And then we can start, pretty much grazing the 1st of March, because we'll save that stockpile until we get some warmer weather and we're getting the rain in March. It's a lot nicer to just be grazing stockpile than feeding hay. versus January and February. It's cold. I don't know, it just feels a lot better to be feeding hay. Sheep and goats like it. Gives them a place to lay down on a cold night. I think everyone would rather if we just had stockpile to graze all winter long, the sheep, the goats, and myself, but pastures aren't there and we just don't have quite enough land. So we feed some hay, and it's needed to build these pastures back up anyway. These pastures have just been hayed, and you know, we limed this piece and we're just gonna start fertilizing it with hay, try to turn it around, really get it, you know, producing. So it's a beautiful pond here, lake. Just thought I'd share this with you guys while I was drinking my coffee and checking on all the animals. Thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it.